but lie. I've been playing a lot of Halo lately.
You say what, Jack?
I've been playing a lot of Halo lately.
Oh, I was just thinking about, I should re-download that real quick on Steam, or just on my PC.
Well, because I've just been a palate
Use my
cleanser
DualSense.
playing a couple games of Halo and some stuff of Destiny 2 has been like really just relaxing.
Oh yes, I bet it has 2 amazing games, if I might add myself.
Here's the thing: I can play, especially like I just play like the whatever the quick play stuff, and I play what's the one where they do the random games? Fiesta. So I just do those two, and the one thing, the reason I guess I like it is because with that game and the games aren't as frustrating as Call of Duty had gotten over the years, where like either like the games aren't very close, or like every other game is like you either annihilate the other team or the other way around. I actually ended up the games I was playing being like one of the better players on the team. So like to me, it's more enjoyable because it's not one of those like, oh my god, either your team is trash and you're getting ran over, or the other way around.
Oh yes, it is
I
good.
also wish, even though it might not be great numbers for them in general, I wish Microsoft would just release the total players thing for PC, not just Steam or whatever. I mean, I'm assuming they're not because their numbers aren't that impressive, but still, I hate everybody 100% looking at the Steam number. So like I told you earlier, I literally uninstalled the Windows 10 app, and I'm playing it now on Steam. It doesn't play any different, and it cross plays with all of them. But then when I was thinking about it from a PC gamer, right? I mean, I can understand people like, if they're not playing on Steam, but here's the thing. If you're a person that has Game Pass and you play Game Pass PC games, right? Whatever number of that 25,000 or whatever number users there are, if you have within the Windows 10 store the ability to play the campaign in Game Pass for free and play the free-to-play, why would you go out of your way to install the Steam version of it versus the Windows 10 one?
Same application.
Well, it's kind of like how like of Call of Duty. I mean, the installs it's like a different thing. Like how like Call of Duty, you can install the different parts, the campaign, this and that, whatever, right? But like for example, a lot of people they'll say Steam because the multiplayer for Halo is free. It's a free to play basically. So they're like, oh well, if it's free to play and no one really playing on PC, then it's just trash. It's whatever. But again, like I think I was looking at like tonight where there's like only like 6,000 or 7,000 people on. But again, that's on Steam. Again, I'm not trying to be saying that there's like way more on the other ones. I'm just saying that 7,000 is not the number. I'm not saying it's probably not still a weak number overall, but I hate everyone just basically like, here's the Steam number. Like there's no other place to play it.
I'm gonna be real. This Halo Infinite fiasco to me it's embarrassing. Man,
but what's the fiasco outside of the season pass? That's the only thing I see is like there's not really much cosmetic to make it sense. But the game, like if you just play it as a game and ignore like season, like if you don't like, I've never given a shit about season pass for any in game ever.
Because you just focus on season pass. I'm not just talking about season pass. That of course.
What part are you talking about?
Everything.
Okay, you say everything. List the things that are everything.
Jack, I should even have to list it. Okay, I'm gonna list them, right? And all this, I'm gonna be real. I'm comparing this to the previous Halos. When I list these things, these are previous. I'm comparing them to previous Halos.
And I'm talking about the multiplayer. I'm not talking about stuff like lack of co-op in the campaign.
I'm talking about the game. The game.
I'm talking about the multiplayer game portion only.
Okay, I'm just telling you what I'm saying though. I'm saying it's embarrassing as a game because of both the fiasco that's going on with the multiplayer and the fiasco that's going on with the campaign, which if you really classify them, Halo's campaign has had
what's
multiplayer.
The fiasco? You're just saying the fiasco. I'm trying to get the specific, like what is the, because I play it like me and Eternal that hasn't heard whatever the things are, I enjoy the game. So what are the fiascos?
I enjoy the game too. Don't get me wrong.
No, but that's what I'm trying to get you to clarify. I'll say it's a fiasco. Like, what is the fiasco that everyone's talking about?
I'm trying to explain, Jack. So, like I said, the campaign, you have been able to co-op campaign since the very first Halo. The campaign has had multiplayer because co-op is still multiplayer. No matter if it's specifically co-op or if you describe it as co-op, that's multiplayer because it's more than one person. The campaign has had multiplayer since the beginning. Then everything about the multiplayer in Halo Infinite, no matter if we're talking about the main multiplayer modes or we're talking about campaign, all of that has went down compared to the other Halos. It's terrible.
Well, Halo 5 was absolute utter trash, so it's definitely better than Halo 5.
Gameplay wise, of course, yes, but
no, but
that's the
like
most important
seriously,
thing.
Halo 5 was terrible. I didn't even finish the campaign.
Okay, but even with that, okay, we can even compare both of those two, to all the other Halos because it's been way more than just two Halos. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't including Halo Wars and stuff in it too, or Spartan Assault, but even if we include those with it as well, Halo Infinite is embarrassing. No matter if it's fun to play, there should be no reason why there isn't a co-op mode, right? And even when they said that it was bringing out the co-op mode, it got delayed. There should be no reason why it doesn't have a Forge. That's been in Halo since Halo 3, and you've been upgrading this whole time. Especially
No, again, I understand what you're saying about the Forge. I understand what you're saying about the co-op. But to me, as someone that was never a thing that was like the big thing for me in Halo, I could give two shits about it. If that's the only thing that's the issue, I'm perfectly fine.
Well, hold on, that's not the only thing. You just stopped me right there. But however, it don't matter. I barely use Forge. It don't matter. Compared to the other games, you have charged us $60 full price for all these other, and now you're charged us $70. Of course, the multiplayer is free. Of course, it's in Game Pass. However, it's still retail value of $60.
The campaign for Halo is $70.
60, 70, whichever. $10 difference. Okay, it can be $60. Is it $60, Jack?
I don't know because majority of the people that are going to play it aren't going to pay $60. They're going to get Game Pass.
Okay, you see how you keep throwing. I'm giving you a reason, and then you keep throwing. Oh well,
No. Even if it was a $60 game, me playing through it in a single player way, I had no real big issues with the game. You're mentioning features are out there that, understandably, those are things that it should have had, but it's not like it came out completely broken like Cyberpunk did. Even though I really enjoy Cyberpunk because I played on PC, it didn't have the issue.
I'm comparing it. I told you specifically what games I'm comparing it to. I'm comparing it specifically to all the other Halos. We're not talking about any other game besides Halo.
But then also a lot of people that played it, they compare the gameplay to Halo 1 and 2, which were like the most like beloved of the franchise.
Let me ask you this, Jack, dear. Let me ask you this. You think, let me know what your thoughts are. You think that Halo Infinite is on par with the launches of all the other Halos?
Definitely, because there were some bad Halo games.
What bad Halo games?
3 I didn't like, and I didn't like 5.
Okay, just because you didn't like them don't mean that they are bad. 3 was arguably
just like the same thing you're saying. Just because you don't like Halo Infinite doesn't mean it's bad.
I didn't never say I didn't like Halo Infinite. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm getting is, as a consensus, people are saying, like, again, the thing I keep hearing is they nitpick the things it doesn't have, which is understandable, a reason to not like it. But that doesn't mean it's like a bad game.
Jack, how is that nitpick? No one has. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be real, and this is what I don't like with I'm gonna be real. This is what I don't like with Xbox players. Yeah, you really don't see every single time people talk about Halo, especially the PlayStation guys that have played Halo. We always say, "Oh yes, it's a fun game. Oh yes, it's a good multiplayer. Oh yes, the gameplay is good." We have always said that. Everyone says that. But now that we are actually giving critique about the things that is bad at, it's Halo is a bad game. No, nobody said it's a bad game. However, again, especially when you compare it to the other Halos, Like I said, other Halos, previous Halos before now, launched with more features than this one did. Even 6 months out, it still does not have the features that it said that they said it was coming with the roadmap. That's embarrassing.
But what would have been more embarrassing is if they just, again, I understand what you're saying. But again, I'm saying from my point of view, the stuff you're saying it doesn't have, I give two shits about. I don't
And that's
care.
okay. That's okay.
But what I'm saying on the top of that is as well is also you say it's embarrassing they don't have it, but it's also embarrassing how Cyberpunk and other games will get delayed and still be a buggy mess when they came out. But then once those things happen, people are like, I would rather you, instead of it being like, it's embarrassing you took so long, I want you to, when it comes out, for it to actually work. So would you rather them be embarrassing by not having the co-op thing or have it come out and be a buggy mess for them?
Well, let me tell
Because
you
you have to
something.
pick one side or the
Halo-
other. Either they're an embarrassment because they take too long, or they're an embarrassment because they just rushed it out when it wasn't ready to appease the people who say you were taking too long.
Well, they did rush it out, and I'm gonna be real, Jack. I did encounter a bunch of bugs in Halo Infinite. There were bugs in Halo. It was not as much as Cyberpunk, which I personally didn't
You want
experience.
to know what was the most buggiest mess that has ever come out from any Halo thing?
Bro, why are you comparing Halo Infinite to Cyberpunk?
I just said Halo.
Like,
I just said Halo just
moving the
now.
goalposts,
I just said Halo. The buggiest piece of shit release that ever came out for Halo was Halo Master Chief Collection. That shit was broken for a year or two after it came out. They fixed this stuff. They're still updating that.
Well, yes, but that's a remaster of all the other games. That's not Halo
But
Infinite.
it's still them releasing a Halo franchise collection, and it was utterly broken. Like
Yeah.
I played that like 2 years after it came out, and I couldn't even finish the campaign from Halo 1 because it would hard crash the game.
And guess what? I had that in Halo Infinite, and that's a new game. So you see where the embarrassment coming in at?
But again, you act like no games have ever crashed anything. You act like people weren't talking about Elden Ring crashing.
How do I act like that? Where have I? What in my?
And again, how many people had issues with Infinite crashing?
What in my statements that led you to say that I act like no other game has bugs? Where did that come from?
It out like it's a crappy mess because you had an instance where it crashed on you.
I never said
but
that.
I've had plenty of games that have crashed on me once or twice. Halo Infinite has never crashed on me on PC or on Xbox.
Jack,
so I'm just saying, I'm just saying, you make it seem like 50% of all users get crashes all the time or something. You're like,
who said
just
that?
because a crash happened once or twice doesn't mean on a larger scale it's a whole issue with the game.
Jack, you said bugs. We didn't say crashes. I said bugs.
Every game has bugs to a certain extent.
Let me list the bugs that I encountered. A couple of them were, yes, they were crashes, but those were not the only bugs. There are a ton of bugs in Halo Infinite when it comes to enemy spawns, and especially those spaceships that be flying around and stuff like that, that be dropping off the grunts and stuff like that. The vehicles be having bugs. Come on, bro. It's not just crashes.
I had a lot of bugs in Forbidden West when I played it, where I had to replay whole sections because stuff would not do the next whatever the thing was. And that's a new game that just came out.
And this is what I'm saying. The goalposts, right? That we move the goalposts, bro.
No, because you're saying how dare a new game have bugs when every fucking game I ever play half the time has some form of bugs. Even Forbidden West I played recently had bugs.
Jack, Halo Infinite launched with not only bugs, right, which was only a response to what you were saying. That it didn't launch with any bugs, and you was comparing to Cyberpunk. That was only a
no. There's a difference between having zero bugs and being unplayable on console.
I ain't done. Listen, I ain't done. So one, it has bugs, right? It launched with bugs, and it probably still has.
A lot of games launch with bugs, still have bugs.
Okay. Halo Infinite launched with bugs, right? It didn't launch with Forge. It didn't launch with co-op. It didn't launch with most of the multiplayer modes that was in the other games.
Last
bro.
of Us
You
2
can
still has no multiplayer.
even with the modes that it launched with, you have to pick a playlist. You cannot go into Team Slayer. You can go into Solo Slayer, whatever. You can go into Fiesta. You cannot click on these things solo. You have to go into a playlist. And on top of that, the battle pass system is crappy. There's no type,
No,
bro.
again,
Halo
I've always
don't have
agreed the
things.
battle pass is crappy, but again, I don't do the battle
Okay,
passes for anything.
Jack. The only thing Halo Infinite has right now is gameplay.
And
Every
that's all
else,
I give a
every
shit
other
about. It's a
game,
video game. Who the fuck cares about the core of the other stuff?
every
At
other,
the core
every.
frame, it's a
But
video game.
you just compared to Cyberpunk because Cyberpunk launched crashing. Exactly.
No,
Everything
no,
about
listen to what
Halo
you just said.
bro.
I compared it to
Everything.
Cyberpunk because you made it seem like
Jack,
it was as bad
Jack.
of a buggy
No,
mess
I
as
did not.
Cyberpunk.
You made it seem like that. I didn't do that. Jack, I just listed off like 6, 7, or 8 different problems with this game. And you're trying to tell me, oh, because the gameplay is fun. Oh, it's an amazing, great, one of the best Halo experience, one of the best games out. Come on, bro. Let's not do
But
that.
me as a player of Halo, I've already told you, Halo is not even my favorite franchise. My favorite is Gears.
It don't.
Halo is a secondary game to me where it's not even been like, I don't have fond memories playing Halo and all that other stuff. The first time I really played Halos was Master Chief Collection.
So you can't be telling people when they're saying these things about Halo that they nitpicking because you just clearly said that you're not that big of a fan of Halo. Pretty much, you didn't play it. You didn't play it like you didn't have fond memories of it. So how are you trying to tell other people about the game when it's clearly unfinished and they are disappointed at that? How you gonna try to tell them how they feel? How to feel, bro? This game is not is not finished. It's not finished at all. Compared to the other Halos, it is not up to par. Any other game like this that launched with great gameplay, but everything else in the game was bad? Star Wars Battlefront 2. They canceled Battlefront 2. It wasn't even because of a lot of other stuff I said with Halo Infinite. It was because of the microtransactions. Had nothing to do with the gameplay. Nothing at all. And it's still a very alive community that's still playing that game. Even if you don't personally like some features about Halo or don't play certain things, you cannot just give it a pass from the flaws that it came out with, even if you don't play those, even if you don't care about it.